Conflict is inevitable. It's a part of every human interaction. It's a natural part of life, woven into the fabric of our relationships, shaping how we connect with one another. We often view conflict as something negative, something to avoid at all costs. But what if we shifted our perspective and saw it differently? What if we saw conflict not as a threat, but as an opportunity for growth? Imagine a garden full of potential. Without the sun's warmth and the occasional storm, plants wouldn't thrive. They need both to grow strong. Similarly, our relationships need both calm and conflict to flourish and become resilient. Conflict, when approached constructively, can help us understand ourselves and others better, fostering empathy. It can strengthen our bonds and lead to greater intimacy and trust. Think of a time you disagreed with someone you care about deeply. Did the conflict lead to a deeper understanding between you two? Perhaps you learned something new about yourself or the other person, something valuable. Maybe it brought you closer together, creating a stronger bond. Embracing conflict, rather than fearing it, allows us to transform challenges into opportunities for growth and self-discovery. By shifting our mindset and approaching conflict with curiosity and openness, we can unlock its hidden potential for positive change and development. Remember, it's not about avoiding the storm, but learning to dance in the rain, finding joy and growth in every challenge. Before we can navigate conflict effectively, we need to understand ourselves. This means taking a deep dive into our own behaviors and reactions. Each of us has a unique way of responding to disagreements, often shaped by our upbringing, personality, and past experiences. These factors create a complex tapestry of emotional responses. Some of us tend to avoid conflict, while others meet it head-on. These approaches can vary greatly depending on the situation and the people involved. There's no right or wrong way to react, but self-awareness is key. Understanding why we react the way we do can be incredibly enlightening. Take a moment to reflect on your own conflict style. Think about recent conflicts and how you handled them. Do you tend to get defensive? Do you feel the need to protect yourself immediately? Do you shut down or withdraw? Perhaps you find it easier to avoid the situation altogether. Or do you become aggressive and confrontational? Maybe you feel the need to assert your point strongly. Understanding your natural tendencies is the first step towards managing them effectively. Imagine a compass guiding you through your emotional landscape. Just as a compass helps us navigate our physical surroundings, understanding our conflict style helps us navigate the landscape of our relationships. It provides direction and clarity. When we're aware of our own patterns, we can start to make conscious choices about how we respond in challenging situations. This awareness empowers us to act rather than react. Self-reflection allows us to identify our triggers, those things that tend to set us off. Recognizing these triggers is crucial for personal growth. Once we know our triggers, we can develop strategies for managing our emotions and responding in a more constructive way. This leads to healthier and more productive interactions. Our past experiences, particularly those involving trauma, can have a profound impact on how we handle conflict. These experiences shape our emotional responses and can influence our behavior in ways we might not even realize. Unresolved trauma can manifest in our relationships, often in unconscious ways. It can create barriers to effective communication and understanding. We might become overly reactive, withdraw emotionally, or struggle to trust others. These reactions can be defense mechanisms developed to protect ourselves from further harm. Think about a time when you reacted strongly to a seemingly minor disagreement. Such reactions can often be traced back to unresolved issues from our past. Could there be a deeper reason behind your response? Perhaps a past hurt or betrayal is influencing your present experience. Reflecting on these connections can be enlightening. It's important to remember that trauma isn't always a single defining event. It can be a series of smaller, ongoing experiences that accumulate over time. It can also stem from ongoing experiences of neglect, abuse, or discrimination. These continuous experiences can deeply affect our sense of self-worth and security. These experiences can shape our beliefs about ourselves, others, and the world around us, impacting how we navigate conflict. They can create patterns of behavior that are hard to break. Recognizing the role of trauma in our lives and relationships is crucial for healing and growth. Awareness is the first step towards change. Seeking professional help, such as therapy or counseling, can provide a safe and supportive space to process these experiences and develop healthier coping mechanisms. Professional guidance can be invaluable in this journey. By acknowledging the weight of the past, we can begin to understand its influence on our present and work towards creating healthier, more fulfilling relationships. This understanding can pave the way for personal growth and stronger connections with others. Section 4. Different rhythms of anger. Respecting individual responses. Just as we each have unique fingerprints, we also experience and express anger in different ways. Some people express anger outwardly, while others internalize it. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to anger, and it's essential to respect these individual differences. Imagine a pot of boiling water. Some people are like tea kettles, whistling loudly when they reach their boiling point. Others are like simmering pots, their anger bubbling beneath the surface. Both responses are valid, and understanding these differences is crucial for navigating conflict effectively. When we encounter someone who expresses anger differently than we do, it's easy to misinterpret their behavior. We might perceive someone who expresses anger openly as aggressive or threatening, while someone who internalizes their anger might seem passive or uncommunicative. Instead of judging or trying to change how others express their anger, we can strive to understand and respect their individual rhythms. This requires empathy, active listening, and a willingness to see things from their perspective. Section 5. The art of healthy disagreement. Evolving arguments into understanding. Disagreements are inevitable in any relationship. It's how we approach these disagreements that determines whether they become destructive or constructive. Healthy conflict resolution involves shifting from a battleground mentality to a space of mutual understanding. Think of an argument like a tennis match. Instead of trying to win the argument, aim to keep the ball in play. This means listening actively to the other person's perspective, even if you don't agree with it. It means expressing your own thoughts and feelings clearly and respectfully, without resorting to personal attacks. One effective technique for fostering healthy disagreement is to use I statements. Instead of saying, "You always do this," try saying, "I feel hurt when this happens." I statements help to de-escalate conflict by focusing on your own experience, rather than blaming or accusing the other person. Remember, the goal of healthy disagreement isn't to win the argument. It's to understand each other's perspectives, find common ground, and strengthen the relationship. Section 6. Bridging the gap. Finding common ground through compromise. Compromise is often seen as a dirty word, implying that someone has to lose for the other person to win. However, true compromise is about finding solutions that work for everyone involved. It's about bridging the gap between different perspectives and creating a win-win situation. Imagine a bridge connecting two sides of a river. Compromise is the bridge that allows us to move from our own side to the other, creating a path for understanding and connection. It requires flexibility, creativity, and a willingness to let go of the need to be right. When we approach compromise with a spirit of collaboration, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. We move away from rigid positions and explore solutions that we might not have considered before. This process can be challenging, but it's ultimately rewarding. Remember, compromise isn't about sacrificing your values or needs. It's about finding creative solutions that honor both your own needs and the needs of the other person. It's about building bridges instead of walls.